Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands, and welcome to an SP Reviews, where today we have ourselves a track from an act named Doc Jazz titled That Train. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves the track on the screen on YouTube. Now this features Walid Itayim. If we go into the description, this is an upbeat country rock track by Doc Jazz featuring guitar solos by the late Palestinian Lebanese guitar legend Walid Itayim. It was recorded approximately 2 years before Walid passed away, and this release is dedicated to his memory. Other artists who collaborated on this track are Faisal Shadid on bass guitar, R. Bellemans on slide guitar, and Hans Legter doing backing vocals that support the lead vocal. Acoustic guitars, piano, lead, and backing vocals, mixing and production were done by Doc Jazz, who was also the composer of the song, both lyrics and music. Finally, audio mastering by Rob Bivsek. Cool. So those are the people involved in the track, and we're going to listen through it from start to finish, and we're going to hear what we think, and yeah, let's go. Took me by surprise a little bit. I wasn't expecting guitars to come in then.
Bags are packed, we're ready to roll. Figured out our destination, ain't nothing left but to finally go with that train. It ain't nowhere near in sight.
I mean, there's a nice combination of elements immediately with the guitars, bass, drums, the vocals sliding on top with those slide guitars. It's a tight motif, no filler so far.
Took some time to get a confirmation, tried so hard to be on time. Imagine our consternation, find ourselves waiting in line for that train.
Very cool response on the sides. Interesting extensions in the bridge. It's nice to have that additional lead layer on top. It's eloquent. It's kind of fizzy. So I'm glad that we paid attention to the EQing of it, because a bit any sharp and the high frequencies, it might have been a little bit unpleasant to listen to, but the shred is golden, and it's a nice contrast and textures to the rest of the arrangement. Interesting minor resolution now. Station man just shook his head. Ain't nothing at this doggone station. What if the train went somewhere else instead? That train ain't nowhere near inside. No. I assume this is Walid's solo section here. It's a solid track so far. Us riffing on the blues and pentatonics. There's lots of dynamic range to it as well. Things like they poke in and they're nice and wide in the stereo field. And You don't always get that. Sometimes things are just so constant everywhere that it becomes a little bit dynamically monotonous. But we don't have that situation here. We knew to keep things quiet and then bam, explore the left or right sides, expand and create that oscillation there.
Looks like there's nothing we can do but sit right where we are and wait. If we still hope to get somewhere, we'll have to take a train that's late. 'Cause that train, it ain't nowhere near inside. No.
I think there's two ways you can take the song, you know?
Station man with the uniform. Can you tell us what's going on? We were supposed to have left long ago. Is there still hope our train will come? Don't want to be headed for a lousy weekend. Oh, that train.
Nice to have the slides and the solos meeting with some of the rhythmic phrasing there.
That doggone train. Waiting for the doggone train. Yeah, that doggone train.
Great. Nice use of Red Dead Redemption footage, by the way. Is that Red Dead Redemption 2? I'm assuming it is. I haven't played it yet. I don't know if I want to, though, because I know that, actually, spoiler alert. That was scintillating. It's a scintillating piece. I mean, I'm just pausing it in case, because I'm never sure when the video is going to end, right? Oh, there we go. So that's everyone involved in the track there. I'll just pause it there for a moment. I want to give a shout out to Walid Itayim. I'm familiar with Dog Jazz's works, but it's great to have that finesse and technique with the solo. Rest in peace. Fantastic guitar player. Alongside everyone else, I just want to give, mention to that. And welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named Dog Jazz, featuring Walid Itayim, titled That Train. Now, what do I think this track is about? I think there's two ways you can take it. The first way I think you can take it is that it is someone who is discussing whether they literally think a train is going to turn up. And that's the most blunt, on the nose reason for it. And so you think, oh, okay, if we can't get this train, when is it going to arrive? Is there another train later on? They're literally going to the station there and talking to the Mr. Station Man and asking what's going on. And the Mr. Station Man can't help him, so they're like, oh, okay, we guess we're going to have to get the next one then. I think it's another way of looking at it. I think there is an alternative way of processing it where I think the train is like the path or the journey that we're supposed to go on as people. And often if we spend too long looking for it, we can often waste time trying to find that sort of that help there, that direction. So, and maybe there's Mr. Station Man as a god, a higher power there, or asking for advice. And then the station man is like, oh no, this is all there is. If you think there's something coming, I can't help you. I can't give you more than this. And then eventually you get to the point where it's actually about looking for that other option there, that alternative to what you thought was going to exist. And it's about being open to the possibilities and eventually accepting that. I think that was what the track was about. Dog Jazz's performance on the vocals was solid. I think that he told this story with a sense of genuine intent and authenticity there, and it was also just really pleasant to hear him communicate. He's got solid vocal technique. I'm happy with his head and chest voice there. So there was some legato passages there, and they seemed relatively comfortable. It wasn't like an operatic performance, but I don't think that we needed it for this type of tune there. We explored the country bluesy oral aesthetics there quite well with some jazzy funky infusions as per Dog Jazz's kind of vibe, and that's fine. If you like this track from Dog Jazz, you'll probably like his others in his discography as well on his YouTube channel. But pushing forward from that, the vocal melodies that we had here were catchy, as well as the harmonies on the side there that were nice and bright and very charming to listen to, and it was good-natured. The personality was there, the intent was there, and I can understand how we sung and why we sung, how it related to the lyrics. So I think there was a good thematic connection there. But outside of the vocals and the story that was being told, we have a track where at 4:46, it was littered with lots of really interesting little things going on. We had the instrumental intro with the guitars, bass, and drums and all that coming in. So we if we go back to the start, We don't really hesitate. We get into the theme really quickly with the slides as well, the steel strings, and I think that's a smart way to do it. You really can't afford to wait too long to bring out the big guns in a lot of situations, especially when it's a first impression, especially when it's a longer track. You really need to pull people in so that they know that if they're going to be there for outside that 2 to 4 minute, that longer period, that it's going to be entertaining the whole way through. Coupled with that, with verse and chorus chorus sections, should I say, like transitions between the ABs, they were stunning. Like the transitions between those various parts were great. There were lead bits as well, lead little guitar solos, which were cool. And we had varying intensities. I think the first guitar solo with the slides in the background was it was technical, but it was well controlled, and it was more of a melodic solo rather than a look how fast I can play or how crazy I can play kind of solo. With the second solo where the slide guitar was sort of trying to unify with it, we did have a bit more shred going on, but ultimately I think this is more about if we had solo sections, they were either a replacement for what's happening with the verse melodies, or they were simply trying to add a different lead perspective there. The interesting 8th and 16th note grooves on the drums, with the snare kind of train, kind of like the trains going along the tracks, with the bass line rolling between octaves or kind of riffing around with those muted and like grooves on the lower register. The guitars with a motif that really shouldn't have been as repeatable as it was, but it was really catchy and was sort of well underneath the slides on the left and right sides of the stereo field. They did switch, which was cool. As I understand it, although it could be confusing things, but obviously then with the slides being in an upper register, nicely EQ'd up to that higher range, the leads in the center dancing around and giving their own space, making the most of that area. I think there were a lot of pleasant layers to listen to, and they amalgamated and niched really nicely with each other without interfering. There was very minimal need, I think, to be too respectful of the traditional major and minor shapes. There we had interesting scales. There was the majors and minors, and then some pentatonics and some blues, and maybe even the country scale involved there. And we danced and intertwined really nicely with the complexity of the harmonies. And the theme itself, as a byproduct of all that, was just charming and approachable and never wanted to take itself too seriously. I think that it was kind of looking at life and going, oh, well, I guess that's what it is, but not in a sad way. It's like we really want to get to the weekend, but we're also adults about it and we're mature enough to understand that shit happens. So I think that's a good nature for a tone of a combination of elements within a track where it's discussing the subject matter that it is, and I don't really have any complaints about it at all. So well done on the theme. I think it makes sense. Combine that with the audio production, the recording, mixing, and mastering. I'm mostly happy with it. I think that in general, like the vocals were nice and clear. The tones of the individual instruments were great. There were very little issues with the way they were recorded, EQ'd or filtered. And it was nice and wide in the stereo field with lots of movement, things maybe appearing in different parts of the stereo field than what you maybe expected. The vocals kind of cascading, going from center to the sides, etc. Lots of exploration there. And there weren't any resonant frequencies in the frequency spectrum, but what I will note is that I wasn't sure if I was totally satisfied with the leveling here. I think it was very, very good. I would have to listen to the track a few more times. I'm wondering if there are occasions where we simply could have limited, like I'm hoping that we could have potentially mixed in mono just one more time before release, because it seemed like there were some bits that poked out a little bit in regards to the leveling, just not huge amounts. This is no amateur hour stuff, but there were things that I could hear. Maybe it's just because of the incredible amount of dynamic range in this track, because as I mentioned, after that initial solo section, things kind of bounced back. Maybe I was just not expecting things to be as tight as they were, or as glued together as, there was definitely room to breathe in the dynamic range, but maybe that's it. Maybe I need to probably have another check, but my only concern is that the leveling might not be exactly perfect, and that's a very small thing in the grand scheme of things. It's like 99% there, but I'd want to check one more time in mono. But anyways, look, it sounds great. It's nice and loud without pumping, so limiting compression is handled well. But effectively, this is my review of a track from Doc Jazz featuring Walid Itayim titled That Train, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show them some love via their various social medias and their YouTube page, and stay cool, stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as either help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next review. Spiderhands Out.